no experience quite as wonderful as hearing fine professional music outdoors on a beautiful summer evening. One wonderful venue for that is the Phoenicia International Festival of the Voice here in the beautiful Catskills region of New York. Here to speak with us about it is their artistic director, Otey, and James Harwood, who's the president of Harwood Management, a professional artist management firm in Olive Bridge, New York. Welcome to both of you. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Thanks
Great
for
to be
having
here,
us.
Eric. Thank you.
Phoenicia International Festival of the Voice, that's in a very special part of the Catskills.
It certainly is. We're about 30 minutes west of Kingston, New York, and about 20 minutes from the famous Woodstock, New York.
Oh, we have an image of the setting out there with tents on a beautiful field. And now, this is where you perform.
Yes, it's a beautiful park right in the middle of Phoenicia, and those saddle span tents have been with us almost since the beginning, and they just make a beautiful setting for the musical pieces, the musical things that we do.
And how long has the festival been in existence?
This will be our 13th year. We started in 2010. We started in 2010 with a makeshift stage that we covered with sort of a tarp. And we did Falstaff. That was our opera that year. We did Falstaff with piano. And we had 8 performances ranging from the opera to a Native American Grammy winner named Joseph Firecrow. And we expanded to, at one point we did 5 days, and I think we had 34 events in 5 days in Phoenicia. We've had to cut back a little bit since COVID, but on we go.
And does the audience sit on the lawn there?
The audience sits on the lawn. We have chairs that we rent, or people put out blankets. People bring tables. We sort of fashioned it as the festival as a whole. We fashioned it as a cross between Spoleto and Glyndebourne. So Glyndebourne, people bring champagne, they bring candelabras, they bring all kinds of fancy things and sit on the grass and have their picnics. And Spoleto uses the whole town. They use the churches, the theaters, they use everything in the town of Charleston as venues, and that's kind of the way we fashioned the Phoenicia Festival of the Voice.
Oh, that's fantastic. And I understand you have 3 major productions this coming summer.
Yes, so sort of still in the COVID mode, we had to limit what we could do because housing is difficult. There aren't many hotels or things like that in the area. But last year we invited Teatro Grattacielo, which is a thriving company in New York City. I actually did the inaugural performance of that company, L'Amore di Tre Re. And they've developed into a wonderful company that does lesser known works of major composers or lesser done operas, and they've made a great company out of that. And then we have historic New York City Opera that will come as well, which I did a lot of work for back in the day. And then we'll end up doing a concert. So Grattacielo will bring Mozart's Don Giovanni. City Opera will bring La Traviata, and we are going to do a concert that has to do with opera in the movies.
Opera in the movies. Now, I think this is all very fascinating. Now, for people who are not opera buffs, what's a good way to get started with Phoenicia?
In terms of go to our website, which is www, that's hard to say, www.phoeniciavoicefest.org. And we have all of our activities and things online there. We have our history, photos of the past, and what the companies will be doing this year, who they're bringing, the artists they're bringing, and what we're doing.
Well, that's fantastic. Now, we have some images of past productions here, and maybe we'll get a chance to look at some of those while we talk. But are you doing opera in the original languages, or are these in English?
They'll be in the original languages. They'll both be in Italian.
In Italian. And so are these fully staged with costumes and everything like that?
Yes, yes. It may not be the entire opera.
Uh-huh.
It's a little difficult these days to bring full choruses and full orchestras, so the orchestra will be slightly reduced in both cases,
Mhm.
and they will probably not do some of the chorus scenes. So the opera will be slightly truncated, but you'll get all of the great hits.
That's fantastic. Now, maybe Jim can speak to this too, but where are the singers coming from?
A lot of them, well, first place because of Louis, especially, and the history of the festival being happening for 13 years already. Singers know about the festival and they're constantly contacting the company to try and perform. And then it's close enough to New York City, and there's so many singers in and around New York City that a majority of them come from New York City, although they have come from abroad in South America and California and all kinds of places to perform with the festival. It's fantastic. What you really have to know is that Phoenicia, New York, is a little one street town without too many people, and there's not much around Phoenicia directly, but with its proximity to New York City and the Northeast, it's a great place to have a festival, and people just flock there. It's really good. And like Louis said, there's the hotels and places to stay and stuff is pretty limited. So you got to drive a little bit to get there, but you certainly can sit down with a great bottle of wine or a bottle of champagne, Louis, and have some good food and bring all your friends and enjoy it, which I've done every year, and it's fantastic.
That sounds great. Now, how many people typically attend, Louis?
We've had in one evening we've had about 2,500 people attend a couple of the operas over the years. In it, in the years that the festival was 5 days long and we were doing multiple performances throughout the town, we would get anywhere from 5 to 6,000 people during a 3 or 4 day weekend.
Oh my! And how many performances of Don Giovanni and La Traviata are you?
There will only be one performance of everything this summer.
I see. And now will the performers sing masked and orchestra players?
No, no.
Mm-hmm.
The orchestra can, because it's outdoors.
Yeah.
The orchestra, if they choose, I mean, anybody who wants to is certainly, they can certainly wear a mask. The performers will not be masked. They weren't masked last summer either. They'd lifted enough of the protocols, but we did ask that that people be vaccinated and all of that. And as far as the audience last year, we had places for both the vaccinated and unvaccinated. We try to respect people's choices and all of that. And we asked that the audience be masked in the unvaccinated section last year. Hopefully this year it will all be open and free, and we won't have to. There's been a little bit of. I'm sorry, my video went off. I don't know why. Been a little change in what they called the science, but we'll not get into all of that. So hopefully everybody will be able to come unmasked and unfettered this year.
Yeah, that's a great thing about being outdoors. Well, producing opera is a highly technical aspect, lighting and sound and everything else. Do you have staff or do you hire your productions in? How does that work?
We do our own productions, and we have a technical director that we've worked with now for 8, 9 years, almost the whole history of the festival. Wonderful guy named Dan Jobbins, who's worked for a couple of big tech companies in the New York area. In fact, where I'm living right now in Naples, Florida, the Opera Naples just had him come to oversee their whole festival down here. So he knows all aspects of sound, lighting, stage sets, all those kind of things. And so we have different people that we've worked with over the years for costumes, for sets, and we got our executive director, Maria Todaro, has garnered over 180 volunteers in a small town of 360 people. So almost half the population of the town become volunteers because it allows them to see some of the operas that see some of the rehearsals as well as the performances and things like that. So it's worked out very well that we pride ourselves in being a contributor to the community and not just an interloper that comes in and uses things. We've tried very hard to contribute to the community as a whole.
Oh, that's marvelous. Now, Jim, it's been a particularly challenging time for singers having to deal with masks and during the COVID. What's your experience been like for the past few years?
Well, 2 years ago, the business went to zero.
Yeah.
The Broadway, the opera world, the orchestra world, basically performing arts just totally stopped.
Yeah.
And I guess Louis is feeling it, but I certainly am. Now it's back up in full speed, and it's a challenge. We got used to not being so busy. So
right.
Now we're incredibly busy. And I do want to just say, this festival keeps changing and expanding and doing interesting things. They just inherited or were given a church, which is going to be a performing space that they can use year round for various events. And I've got to say that the whole state of New York, whether it's the Arts Council, the county government, our state representatives, whatever, everybody has really become supporters of this festival. And so its existence and continued thriving is going to continue because of all of that too.
And are the ticket prices attractive and affordable for a family, for instance, Louis? Well, we do feel that we've tried to keep the ticket prices low. Right now they're at $35 for adults, but kids under 16 can get in for free. So a whole family can, a family of 6 can see world-class performers for $70, and I feel that's pretty fair. That would be one ticket, or not even one ticket at Glimmerglass. Oh, right. And that's a memorable experience. I know going to concerts outdoors as a child, that's something you remember the rest of your life for sure. And do you accept donations at the Phoenicia Festival? Absolutely. Absolutely. Donations can be given online or at the festival. And it's we depend on the community and on donations to keep going. And so far, we've been very blessed. Well, the arts have certainly been a big part of reopening New York after the pandemic. What else should we know in just 20 seconds or less, Louis? Oh, my goodness. Well, each of the companies bring amazing performers and amazing productions. And, of course, our concert will be really interesting because I think people don't realize how much opera has played in movies. So it's a beautiful weekend in the first part of August. And don't miss it. It's an easy way to see great performers that, you would pay 3 times as much to see at the Met and other places. That's fantastic. We have that slide to put up one more time. But Jim, just in a last word about singing and the value of music in the summertime.
The value of music all the time. The world needs to experience live music in every way possible. And this is certainly one of the simple ways to hear world-class performance. And I've convinced lots of people, since I have a house up in this area, as does Louis and Maria, but I've convinced so many people who've never seen opera before ever to go to the opera, and they can't wait to come every summer. It's great.
That's fantastic. Yep. Well, thank you both for telling us today about the Phoenicia International Festival of the Voice there in the beautiful Catskills in New York. It's great to see you. Great to see you. Thank you so much, Eric.
Thank you, Eric.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
Our guests have been Louis Otey, he is the artistic director of the Phoenicia International Festival of the Voice, and James Harwood, president of Harwood Management in Olive Bridge, New York. In the Spotlight is a production of Penfield Television with sponsorship from Nokan & Associates, a private wealth advisory practice of Ameriprise Financial Advisors. If you enjoy this program, please find us on Facebook, like and share the program, and find our full playlist on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching.